welcome back to Life at the Outpost. Commiserations to all Cowboys fans, as this will be the last one for the year, seeing as the Cows just got knocked out in the semis, unfortunately.
I will go down with the ship.
Yeah, better year than last, as if there's any positive note to go out on. But yeah, unfortunately, just missing out on the prelims by 8 points. 8 points.
8 points, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's an extra 10 minutes in that game. Maybe there's something different.
Yeah, different result, but
that's not how rugby league's played. You only get 80, and it's unless it's equal.
Can't do it within them, then that's it.
It is what it is.
See you later.
It is what it is.
Later. So long, good night. We'll have a quick look. We'll jump back to week 1 of the finals. We might as well. Since we have spoken last, that was the next game after that. So we've come away with the win. Cowboys 28 points to 16 against the Knights up here at Queensland Country, banking that one. Very tight game for a bit there. The Knights,
but also a very similar game to the this week's game.
Yeah,
in the sense where just first half, not quite there.
But fortunately in this game, I should say, Knights not getting too far of a lead or too far ahead, which was probably what allowed us to stay in the fight a little bit, I think, made it possible. So that one there, obviously, I think we went over first. We put the first points on with Folk going over in a runaway. He picked a fucking good intercept in that one.
Cracker of an intercept.
Marvellous intercept and ran almost length of the field. Could see he was almost running in porridge by the end of it, but he just got there, got that and got there, and first points on the board, which was good and sort of had us in it, and it was a pretty good fight then. But whether it was a bit of fatigue or defensive lapses, I don't know, because you had Brayley go over and then Fletcher Sharp not long after that, really.
Honestly, I feel like it was more of a clinic of just a bit of the Kalen Ponga show, really.
Yeah.
Really a bit of a Kalen Ponga show.
Snapping ankles and keeping everyone on their toes, second-guessing everything, really.
Well, the thing is, the moment you have to start investing more into Ponga like that, you've got to shift things about.
Yeah.
And you've really got to still manage to put people on Fletcher Sharp mostly.
Yeah.
They still kept Marju down, which was good.
Yep.
But you've got to then mark Sharp and, of course,
both Sharp and Marju, we know, is a strong ball carrier and can leap like a gorilla on a pogo stick. He's got the body of a gorilla and the athletic ability of one too.
Dude is big and huge.
Yeah,
he's
like
big and huge,
plucking balls out of midair like nothing. As well as Fletcher Sharp, who can do that and has speed. But Sharp with a smaller body type, I was quite surprised, had really good ball return.
Yeah,
his ability to bring the ball back was.
He's surprisingly well built.
Yeah. Great ball carrying ability. Definitely. So both of them very dangerous attacking options there for sure, man. Like you said, just adding something else to keep the boys second guessing.
But the moment you start investing all those extra resources into Ponga, look what Sharp did straight away. Just bang straight down the sideline. Off he goes.
Yep. Knights sort of probably halfway through, if not a little bit more, of the first half. They're just taking control and really grabbing the Cowboys by the scruff of the neck a bit, I think, unfortunately, which is it took that second half to come out before the boys really got into it and sort of had a bit more of a dig, I think. Talangi going over there for the first try of the second half, which kicked the boys into gear, and not long after we had McLean getting off the nudie run, getting his first try of the year in the first week of the finals there. So,
I think Griff's still got to do it though, so unlucky Griff.
Which even McLean's try was good. It was just, I think, a bit of fatigue on the Knights' part more than anything, I'd say, possibly. They just sort of tides turned, for lack of a better term. They flipped. The boys were sort of second-guessing. Knights were second-guessing a bit of what was going to happen, and it just opened right up for the big man. He just strolled through, really, from 10 metres out. He never looked like he wasn't ever going to get there.
That gap just never closed.
Yeah.
That gap in the middle just never recovered. I think Cotter goes over after, and then so does Dearden. So,
exactly. It just, I think they just eyes off the ball for a second, I think, and it was just that second that was needed. So, mind you, Dylan Lucas did go over as well. The Knights did sort of...
Off a mistake, yeah.
Yeah, the Knights did, and that's where a lot of Knights' tries and field position came from, was Cowboys' errors, which it's happened all year. They just aren't able to defend errors they make, unfortunately, or not effectively anyway, for the most part. And like, it looked like Ponga at any moment could have done something, or could have just turned the game on its head. I think it wasn't until right at the end, probably the last couple minutes, where Ponga went for a chip and chase to try and level it up or something, just create something, and I think we caught it or whatever. And not long after that, Tommy Dearden went over just to seal the game. But yeah, very, very up and down game until probably the last 20 minutes or so, I think, when the boys started to really turn the screws. And like you said, Cotter going
Clifford
over there.
worked real hard to get that possession back, that field position. Yeah, he did fantastic.
Yeah, phenomenal. His kicks are something that keeps everyone second guessing for starters, which is good, and it makes people compete or actually contest the kick. But just the meters gained and that off of it, or the return from it is.
It also actually gives us time to get there and contest for it too.
Yeah, when we have someone contesting, that's great. Exactly right. Yeah,
it's been a much better kicking since he's come back in.
Yeah, most definitely
necessary.
Yep. And then I think we did sort of start to see the edges and stuff like that have quite a bit of a go as well in that game, which was good. So. Great effort from the boys there. Just unfortunate for the Knights in that one. Their season ended there. It was one where I think we'd said at times prior, they're probably a little bit lucky to get there. They sort of just not having Ponga there most of the year as well, who's their star. There's a creative player. They
get him off for a shin tatter.
They just sort of relied on him. Yeah, I think. Best can help him with that. I think they just sort of relied on him a little bit too much, and that's where we sort of took advantage. I think Cowboys took advantage of that one.
For sure.
Which, moving on to finals week 2 against the Sharks down there at Allianz Stadium. Friday night, we all gathered at the Leagues Club car park for the car park party to watch us one on the big screen. Nothing like the vibe of that. I've forgotten how good it is in real important games to get around the community like that and watch it with everyone. It was a vibe initially, and then, half an hour into the game, it was not a vibe. The vibe was gone. But it was a tough game. Tough game in the end, that one. Obviously, Cowboys going down 26 points to 18, but having a real shocker of a first half, real bludger of a first half.
This has been a killer all year, though.
Yeah.
For our first half performances have not been.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and like you just said, probably very similar to the Knights game, but unfortunately Sharks just put us to the sword a bit more.
Maybe just trying to feel it out a little too long,
Yeah, they the Sharks really just put us to the sword a bit too much, so they got too much of a lead, unfortunately, for us to claw back in the time we had.
It also felt like this game carried a little bit of nervousness, maybe.
Yeah,
and I mean, understandable. It's they had a lot of work to do from last year.
Yep.
A lot on the line. A lot of criticism to address.
Yep.
And I still feel like they've addressed a lot of those criticisms, which is good. They've got a little bit to do defensively. I'd probably say still. But we'll see what this offseason can bring. They tried their best here, and it came close. Like I said, if there was another 10 minutes in this game, there's very, very good chance that the Sharks don't have enough energy in them to hold it back.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. And I think Trindle had a stellar game, tore us apart for that first half completely. The second half, we saw a bit of a shift where Hines then took a step forward.
We started dominating Trindle and then letting Hines got given the reins, and he just couldn't compare to Trindle.
Yeah,
really.
The lack of creativity, or what, I don't know. Like, we were seeing some kicks, and they were very familiar kicks, almost like ones we've been experiencing for the last 2 years, where very predictable. They were taken quite easily. And,
no float.
Yeah, return meters off of them were quite decent or solid anyway. So, yeah, they just, I don't know, they're a little bit lackluster. Whether they got a little bit comfortable, I don't know myself, and they just dropped back a little bit. But, boys showed a lot of fight in the second half to get 18 points at all, really, in my opinion. Holmes went over in the first minute of the second half there to kick us off. But, just very unfortunate for the boys. They were a little bit too far behind. You have to, end of the day, as bad as their second half was, you have to say the better team won with the Sharks in this one.
Definitely.
Because they did it all. They did everything they needed to do, and they did it all in the first half and just found a way to defend it in the second half.
That's when everyone's got all the energy, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly right, man. We shouts out to Cotter as well. Cotter going over for a try as well as Holmes, and I think when Holmes scored that try, the second try he got injured.
Yes, he got injured. Someone landed on the back of his leg.
Yeah, came down hard on his shin or something it looked like. But lower leg, yeah.
And initially we were all thinking syndesmosis. Trying to run it out, bit of a limp to it. And then as he's running, he goes down again, and that's when we find out that it was an initial fracture and then a break.
Yeah, so fracture turned into a break. Exactly right. So
ouch.
A lot of grit for Holmes to stay on there initially. Anyway, he knew there was more to be done, and they needed to do more to possibly win. But
especially with the spine change after Kyle going down.
Yeah, exactly right. So felt going down with a hamstring injury. We thought it was a hamstring injury initially, but turned out to be a calf injury. Pushing Val out to the wing, I believe, and there were a few people, having I know Valea, I don't think he got injured. No, he was still hanging around.
He was there.
More a few positional shifts just to accommodate that. Sorry, I was just reading something there to accommodate that. It was just tough all around the field, I think, really. You lose two of your strike players or try scorers, point scorers specifically, but
veterans.
Yeah,
in general, experienced players.
Makes it
tough.
An already hard game even harder. And we saw that. We saw the fatigue of the first half well and truly set in the first half, and then that second half too, after we'd given everything we could, I think got those points, it just well and truly set in again, in the view of drop balls. It was drop balls, knock-ons, forward passes. Well, not really forward passes, but
you got to say the Sharks really did their research on Tommy Dearden as well.
Yeah, did well to shut him down, definitely. He was still a bit of a handful and still great in defence, but really,
they were higher. They were higher in points if it wasn't for Tommy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tommy worked hard.
Yeah, no one buying the old Tommy show and go or whatever, or short pass sort of thing, or turn back inside this game. So he
still paid dividends in defence though. He's
Yeah.
incredible defensively.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like you said, they just did a bit of their homework, it seemed like, most definitely on him.
Yeah.
There was a good one, though, as well. Another good try-saving tackle by Griffin Neem. I think Katoa went over, had 3 on him, and he still kept going, got over the line. They actually awarded it a try there initially.
The knee dislodged it into another player, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Neem was there, and he hit him hard, and it turns out did dislodge it, so it was a knock-on from Katoa. But if he hadn't been there to hit it, Katoa, or he didn't hit him the way he did, Katoa would have got that down easier than he did in the end. So
not enough to get off the nudie run, though, mate.
Yeah,
Unlucky.
Unfortunately. So he's doing that one this year. But a lot of good efforts over the park. Just probably a little bit of a hangover or fatigue from the season, maybe. I don't know. They just unfortunately edged out for the 2024 season. Little bit sad to see, as we spoken about, Holmes and Felt going out with injuries, not being able to see the game out, although it was toward the end of the game. But just very unfortunate for the boys.
You've got to still thank them for their service, though.
Yeah, true blue Cowboys at heart, definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, Val growing up here.
Yeah.
Felt growing up here.
Yep. Yeah, definitely giving their all to the club during their time. So hopefully speedy recoveries to both of them. Off-season coming up, it's well and truly time to themselves. They've deserved it after this year and this season, especially this final series. Bit of time to recover and stuff like 100%. That and do what they want to do. So, and at least with Kyle, I mean, we know he's got a year over overseas, but couple, I think 2 years. I think
2 years
got at St. Helens.
St. Helens.
Yeah.
So a couple of years over there, which is great. Best of luck, and hopefully that when you come back and if you're retiring, Hopefully we get some coaching stuff or something maybe.
Most definitely. And then, Holmes as well, who'll, now we know it's a broken leg, probably be a little bit more of recovery time.
Yeah.
But,
Fucking hell,
hopefully he can get in, get well, have a good off-season and get well before the start of next season or pre-season for
Best
the
of luck
Dragons.
with the Dragons too, yeah.
Yeah, Dragons will be wanting that as well, most definitely. There hasn't really been too much in the way of news, big news around since then. There's not a whole lot more to it, unfortunately, with the season being over. I think overall, definite improvement on the 23 season.
Big improvement.
Obviously, placing and making week 2 of the finals is proof of that.
I think safe to say the attack has been well and truly fixed.
Yeah.
We still have defensive work to do.
Very much so.
Maybe some endurance stuff too.
Yeah. Trying to get back to that grittiness that we had in the 2022 season, where being down by 10 points wasn't enough to sort of drop the heads or sort of fall out of the game a little bit. Just more of a motivation to get in and turn it up harder.
That's it.
It's probably. I mean, we will. I think we'll come back with a review of the year episode toward the end of the year, or toward the end of the season rather. We'll do that. We'll wait till the actual competition's over. We'll see who comes out the winner in the end there. But a lot of positives, I think. A lot of negatives, unfortunately, but a lot of positives moving into next year. But the positives outweigh the negatives. I think, players we're losing. I think we've got some great talent coming through, and we've seen it on show for the last 2 years here and there. So finally time to get a full-time spot and see what can happen week in, week out, which is good, something to look forward to. But there's nothing else more you want to touch on before we wrap it up, or?
Very much so. Look, like you said, we've got a lot of talent coming forward. Very much so looking forward to seeing more of the likes of Chester. Very much so looking forward to seeing the likes of McKaylee. Very much so looking forward to even potentially Duffy if there's ever injuries.
Yep.
As well. That's someone who doesn't get talked about nearly enough.
Yep. We'll definitely see, Purdue and Laybut out
Purdue
there
and
well.
Laybut, please protect your ACL, brother. I beg, man. I'm friggin' begging, bro.
We need you.
Yeah. But there's a lot of promise for next year. Missing Val and Felty's going to suck, but
we've got something to
look forward to still. We've got something to build with.
As well as Burns, I mean, he's probably more
and
of
Lawton
a backup player. Yeah, Lawton and Burns moving forward again. So we're not worse off. We're not bad. We're just it'll be a new team, different team around the park next year. So excited to see how that's going to be. Alrighty, that's probably it for our regular season of Life at the Outpost. Thanks for tuning in this year, the first season of it, or first year of it. We'll most definitely be back doing it again next year, hopefully with a little bit more on the run sheet, something else to add in and keep it a bit exciting and favourable. As always, we appreciate all the follows and listens and stuff we get from our regular listeners. If you have anything you want to talk about or anything you want to submit before next year, any suggestions for anything, feel free to send them in. You know where to get to us at Life at the Outpost on Instagram and on our YouTube channel as well. So give us a listen there on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we'll see you next time, 2025, here at Life at the Outpost.